Ay, ay, you know we're playing PTown Bay. We're riding round steady cause we tryna save the planet, save our cities and towns. Wanna save our world, don't wanna see it drown.
Hello everyone and welcome to Hot and Bothered, the Science Gallery International Youth Symposium event. So you are tuning into the gameplay of PTown Bay MMXXX, and for anyone who doesn't know, the MMXXX stands for 2030. My name is Hannah and I'm really excited to be your commentator today for this live stream. So we are coming to you live from Peterborough, which is in the UK. Peterborough is also known as P-Town, as used in this game. So PTown Bay is a board game co-created with young people from Nacro Education and Skills Centre here in Peterborough. And these students are learning outside of the mainstream education system. So I'm a teacher from Nacro, and it's been a real privilege co-creating with these students and just observing them in the process, which has been part of them building this game that you see in front of you today. So this is a game about driving around P-Town in the year 2030. Now, in 2030, the landscape has changed drastically. As you can see on the map, Peterborough is now a coastal town, whereas currently it isn't. Petrol and diesel cars are no longer manufactured as well. So players have to navigate their way around the map in electrical vehicles to complete missions, meet local characters, and collaborate and compete with other players in the game. So this game explores the current and near future aspirations of young people faced with multiple disadvantages. So the missions, the locations, and characters have all been influenced by the views and experience of the young people that have been involved in creating this game. The game was developed through several workshops in both 2021 and 2022. So I've got Prin Marshall joining me now, and she was there in the year 2021 in the initial phase of building this game, and I was present in 2022. Where the young people at Nacro explored environmental and societal issues. And this included reflecting on how the geographical landscape will change in the future, how this will impact the way lifestyles will change, and how that will then shape the structure of our society. And this process informed the decisions that were made around the components and the rules of the game. So we have today playing with us Harold. Give us a wave, Harold. We've got Adrian. We've got Nagina. And we have Jack. So they are your players for the gameplay today. And then we've got Hua Young, who is our dungeon master, who is now going to explain the rules of the game.
Okay, so we have Nagina is the snake, Jack is the pretzel, Harold is the shoe, and Adrian is Nacro. So you all have, everyone's in an electric vehicle, except for Howard, he's on the bus. So that means you can go anywhere you want, as long as it's on the roads, and you have enough charge on your car. And you can tell how many, so you put this down, right? And as you're going, the object is to complete missions and to cover up of the carts, of the slots. And they're color-coded, so the red ones mean tasks that are for yourself. The yellow ones are things that you do together, and the green ones are for the environment. So as you go along, you can do anything you want as long as it's in a location, in one of these locations. And if you want to do something together, to get a yellow one, you have to be at the same place at the same time. Okay? So you have to negotiate a location and an activity. And it might be difficult because you're all in the four corners of Peterborough. Okay? Alright. So, who would like to go first? Okay, Harold's going to go first. Remember, because you're on public transport, you can only go 5. 5 at a time, but you don't need to charge. Okay? Okay? Where are you going?
I'm going to Western Forest.
Okay.
Prin, what do you think about the vehicles? Would you rather be the public transport or the car? Because you have the disadvantages and advantages to both, isn't there, really?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
I think with the car, from previous plays, what we've done with previous groups, you have to think a bit more about where you're going.
Yeah, you have to plan it.
You have to plan
Yeah.
your journey,
Yeah.
where you're going, hence the electric charging and
Yeah.
making people more conscious, environmentally conscious. So I found for young people who had the bus, they were just like
Cruising.
everywhere. Yeah, I'll meet you there. And then they're waiting for everyone else with the cars to meet them.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. I think once the young people picked up on what vehicle and, you know, where they could go, a lot of people were gunning for the bus, but only one person could get the bus.
Yeah. You don't realise until you play, do you, how it translates into the gameplay.
And then it's like, oh my gosh, I need to go this way. Oh, I have to go there. You know, where's the charging point? It's like, oh. It really made them think, actually, about the travel and planning the journey. So,
I agree.
You know, definitely one of the aims of the game, right?
Yeah, that's it.
But it was...
Okay, so we've already got, was that Adrian that's already into the heart of Peterborough?
Yeah, already. Did Adrian have the bus? I forgot who had what.
I think it's Harold who's got the bus, yeah. Adrian's got the car.
Just adapt to a new experience. So I want to learn what is there, and what they have to offer, what they want to do, or what they have to offer for a customer like me over there.
About around the environment. Adapt is for the environment. So these are activities, the green ones are activities for the environment.
Oh, nuts.
The red ones are for yourself.
For myself.
Yeah.
So for myself, I would say I do that for myself. I'll put that under enjoy.
What are you doing? You're gonna question them about their adaptation? That's something you enjoy doing. That's for your own pleasure.
My own personal, exactly. Just a new explore, a new experience.
Okay. All right. And what does Jamaican Delight say? What do they tell you?
They tell me that.
You ask them.
Said, just question. So what are you guys about? Just got to learn about them really, pretty much. And they might even ask for a job there.
It's a restaurant. Okay, so you grill them and then you ask for a job.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Nagina, where are you going?
Yeah. It's real life, isn't it?
Yeah.
It gets you thinking about, if this was really Peterborough and this is what we're doing, what would you actually go and do?
Exactly.
And what I like about this gameplay is you can interact with some of the choices that other players have made. So if someone's already asked for a job in one place, maybe that might then hinder you from going there again to do the same thing because someone else has already asked for a job, which again is real life, isn't it?
Real life, that competition, especially for young people and the places they go to work. So whether it is a restaurant or a barber shop.
That's it.
Things like that, qualifications come into that and they start to think of all these other aspects.
Absolutely. And you're so right because, again, with this game, you're thinking about progression and what's available to you on the map and how you can then kind of create this life yourself in this map of Peterborough, with the university.
And that sort of aspect, you see, because I think Peterborough is not so much a sleepy town, but to have a university, that's it, even the young people within the city are like, oh my
it's
God,
huge. It's
the
huge.
university.
Yeah,
Wow,
absolutely.
goodness,
I think it'll be good for the city because the influx of young people that it'll bring in, and I think it's going to wake Peterborough up.
Yeah, I think so. And I love the locations we have on the game and what the young people came up with because they are in those locations. So it would be in Ferry Meadows or in this case where Asda used to be.
Yeah.
So they're familiar with the placement, let alone dealing with changes in the city. It's not going to stay the same as everyone thought it would be and stagnate in just another little small city market town. It is growing, and the young people are going to be that generation to grow with
be
that.
part of that change. And that was really present in the workshops, and I'm sure you'll have seen it too, that challenging the thoughts around, this is a map of how it's predicted to be and how is your life going to be in this map. And, when it comes to making these choices, it again makes you think about the way the society will change with the geographics.
Exactly.
If you're having trouble thinking of an activity, you can ask one of the people who live here.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? Okay.
Let's see what we got.
Who you?
So I'm talking to Juan Carlos.
Okay.
Cool. They're a barber from Cuba, age 28. They like sports. So options A and B. This green is the good stuff. Let's get high. Hey man, you could work for me and earn good money. First plant this weed and I'll tell you what you need to know. Okay.
So those are options. You don't have to do those things,
right.
But it's out there as an activity for you to do.
Okay.
I can tell you, if you take option A,
yeah,
you can get high.
Yeah.
But that's it. You just stay there. You don't get anything. But you might feel good.
You know what? Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to. You can. You are at a jet ski place.
This is true. Could I not do B, which is employed? You
want to work?
Let's make it eco-friendly. But why not?
Oh, okay.
Let's make it ethical.
All right.
Let's go for it.
Well, you have to. Where are you going to plant your plants?
Well,
where's the planting happening?
Yeah. As much.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking, it could be a cool little, near the water.
I don't think that's where it grows, really.
This is a good point. Maybe it's like a double up business.
With the ski shop.
Yeah.
You want to speak to the ski shop owner?
Yeah.
So I want to plant some illegal plants on your area of business.
So here Jack's been faced with a black card, so to speak. Yeah. It's a rock and a hard place. He had two difficult options, and now he's figuring out how to make them.
Okay.
He's chosen employment instead of illegal activities. That's good.
Good choice, Jack.
Yeah, good choice, Jack.
Okay, so Harold is on his way to Bretton Forest. A very easy place to do something for the environment, as it's already a green space.
Yeah.
There's enough trees.
One that's it. It'll be more. It'll be fronting the city as well. Obviously in the game.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
I think one thing that stands out to me about the Bretton Forest location is it's quite easy to think, okay, it's a forest, so trees, but actually when we've explored this game further, we've realised there's so much more we can do for the environment in that space.
Yeah, definitely, and Bretton Woods in general, for the history of Peterborough, always been there, always been part of the city, but just on the outskirts, going out. So it's made, again, young people more aware of Bretton Woods and where it is, because a lot of the young people we worked with in the group were city-based. So even for them to know it was there, they were like, oh, there is another green space apart from Ferry Meadows, because half of Ferry Meadows won't be there anymore. So it's like, oh, okay, we're going to have to utilise this space.
Yeah, that's it, absolutely. And I think as well, because the game pushes you to complete a certain ratio of tasks, you have to think outside the box. So where you might for yourself go for a walk in the forest, you have to think beyond that. So what can I do with other people? How can I socialise in a green space? And then what can I do to give back to the green space? So I think this is a really good way of stimulating that, thought and even conversation around, how we can engage with our spaces.
Yeah, and just the environmental aspect, even with the cars. A lot of young people in the groups, as we were developing it, were like, what? Electric car? What? Oh. And it's like, when you come to drive and you're able to, it will be an electric car you're driving. And a lot of lads from Eastern European backgrounds, they're like, well, in Lithuania, we've got petrol, diesel, we've got all that. I said, yeah, but that's all going to change. And it's them just getting their head around that, let alone the environment, which is, it's not visible, is it, really, for young people, unless you're a young person really into your climate change. And with the young people we work with, that's not a priority for them. So those discussions we had around, let alone an electric car, let alone Bretton Woods and green spaces, and what can you do in the green space, they had to think. Yeah.
And I think on that note, Prin, even the process of, I mean, the game is great in stimulating these thoughts, but just the process itself, I think, was really, it was really intensive at some times, you know, really bring in some, you know, real facts and stuff that they might not realise, because again, like you said, the priorities have been different for these young people.
Okay, Jack?
I feel like I'm limited here, so I'm going to leave.
And that's another thing as well, that you really have to think about in this game is your charge and where you want to go, and sometimes you have to sacrifice your next go on gaining charge over another location.
Yeah, that's it, and where you want to go, you know. You won't probably be there in time to meet your mates at the bowling alley. You know, I know you left work or the Amazon factory and you have to get there, but everyone's there already, you know.
Exactly.
So you miss out. But then I suppose, like I was saying about priorities, it's about your job and work, or meeting your mates, and how you're going to do that, you know.
Absolutely.
Those life sort of things.
Life skills.
Yeah, life skills.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Go to the Peterborough police station.
Okay.
There we go.
And
What are you doing at the police station?
well, I'm going to inquire how the recycling program is going.
Okay, I like that one. So Harold's just decided to go to the police station to inquire on their recycling protocols.
Okay.
And I think that's another a great thing, isn't it? You know, thinking about, okay, how can I collaborate with the authority in our space and help promote and push those positive changes?
Actually, yeah, you know, the police, you think what they got to do with the environment, but that's it. Harold's just come up with a really solution in terms of like recycling programs, which, you know, that's it. Will the police have to do that, or are they doing that? I don't know. But those sort of programs will have to be part of that, I suppose, in terms of environmental stuff within the city, whether it is, I know, you're recycling down Bretton Woods, or helping to, I don't know, even police green spaces so they're not like littered or, you know, vandalised or something. Yeah. It's just funny. It's funny what people come out with.
Yeah, 100% agree.
I think that was a really good thought from Harold, because it makes people think it isn't just going around a board.
Okay, polish shop.
Oh, police shop.
Is it two because of car?
No. Yes.
Two, okay.
Move your church down.
Two.
Alright, what do you do at Julia's polish shop?
Okay, so Adrian's just arrived at the Polish shop, Julia's Polish shop, which is another shop that's local to the students that they are familiar with.
It's a supermarket. It's not like a school.
So he's currently deciding what he's going to do there.
Yeah, I guess, you know, maybe the top selling products, you know, she can teach me, like...
Okay, it sounds like he's going for
names of the top selling
something
products.
business related.
And you're going to learn how to say bread in Polish.
Yeah.
Oh, he's learning Polish. Okay, wonderful. So connecting with the local community.
Okay.
Great.
Learning how to say bread in Polish, etc. That's good.
Definitely. I think this is another thing. Whilst we've got an environmental focus here, we've also got a social focus where, you know, it's like taking responsibility for our local shops and our local communities and engaging with them.
Yeah, and independent businesses in the city. We have loads, and it's really important to support those local businesses as well as new ones and the franchises we have, like coffee shops and all the rest of it. Julia's Polish shop's been there for time, you know, and loads of the young people go, I even go, like you go, and like a young man was saying, sorry I've forgotten his name, Adrian, you go there and you learn, you know, whether it's some Polish food you want to find out, it's going to ask Julia
Yeah.
how to say
Exactly.
you know, bread in Polish, and probably get himself some Polish bread that he's never eaten before, you know. It's that cultural aspect of Peterborough. We have such an amalgamation of culture, and it's about that cross-culture as well. Even in our group at Nacro, the different nationalities and the amazing mix of young people in that group was just great, absolutely great. And you had like the Portuguese lads, you know, learning Polish from the other lads. Those are conversations that came up when we were playing the game.
Do you know what, there was, I really observed a great sense of respect for people's culture and a really kind of inquiring mind and openness to whatever someone's experience was, which I thought was lovely.
Exactly. It's not about, oh, that's you, that's what you do. It's like, oh, let me in on that, or not being afraid to ask questions as well. And some of the lads in that crew group, joking, making cultural jokes, but testing those boundaries and seeing where they stand, or asking about something, you know, do your people, for example, do that? And that response being, no, actually, you know, this is what we do, or this is how that's said, or this is this. And that healthy challenge coming from the game was really cool, and it opened up, like you said, it just broke down barriers that they came across, obviously joking, but otherwise they were really open to each other and where they were coming from, you know, and found really cool like commonalities between them as well, you know. And I'm talking like socio-economic. So I remember a conversation with a couple of lads who were like, oh, so you live with your mum as well? Yeah, I live with my mum, and my three brothers, just me and my mum. No, dad, that's like me. It's like, yeah. Or, you know, full families, mum, dad, brother, sister. But it's really nice to hear their conversations outside of and around the game and where they place themselves, let alone in Peterborough, but within their community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it definitely encouraged a sense of self-awareness. And I think this game does, because you are kind of reflecting on layers, you know, as we said, the environment, society, yourself, your personal development, where you're going, and not just literally in the game, but you're thinking about your life objectives in a way, both in reality but also in the game as well, because, you know, you're thinking about, okay, you know, I need to go to uni, or, you know, I'm going to get a job here or an apprenticeship here.
And you know, with some of the lads, well, the young people who attend Nacro, it's your life prospects, where you stand, your self-worth. You know, if you've been excluded from mainstream education, you're instantly feeling rejected right there, like you're not part of, I know, the status quo of stuff. So the conversations around the game, and like you were saying about your placement where you are, that's at university, some of the kids in the group was like, it's like, no, you can go to university. Do you know what I mean? Like, I came off from the state in Peterborough, and I've been, if I can do it, you can do it. Goodness, you can. And just give them that little seed.
That's it. And it's like with this game, you can almost, I want to say start again, but, you know, you can kind of, again, just zoom out a little bit and place yourself on that map.
You can look at it really objectively as to where you are and where society expects you as a young person to be, and how you're going to get there, you know?
So Harold and Jack are collaborating on a joint activity. They're both at the police station. I think they're deciding what they should do.
Oh, okay.
So this is good because it encourages and prompts a sense of working together and joint movement as well. You know, that's something that's really important in our lives. You know, the movements that we see happen only through collaboration and networks and supporting each other on issues that we all, you know, believe in and are passionate about.
Definitely, and again, people who come from, I don't know, whether it's different groups, group here today, no one really knows each other, but you converse with someone who you probably first met. Like Harold and Jack were just saying about a fundraiser at the police station. It's like, you know, that they probably just met each other first today, and they've just had that exchange, and there's a really nice open like dialogue and exchange there already, and what's to say, outside of the game they have another chat about what they've just done, let alone becoming mates or acquaintances, or just those links in the community and amongst each other, because a lot of the young people in the groups that we worked with, they were always in the same building day in day out, but they didn't really know each other. And then you saw their friendship sort of like unravel to like the next layer, and that was really interesting because they actually got to know each other a bit more than just in that school environment, in that room. It was more than that. It was really great to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I really observed that. I think what's amazing about the process of this gameplay as well is because we were diving into some of the really intense subjects that I don't think they've always had the space to talk about. It kind of, I think, made them think that, there is a whole world here in my hands. I think for me that's been the greatest thing about this game, is it's helped them kind of gain a sense of empowerment, on Peterborough and the world and how it's going to change, and, how much they can be part of that.
Yeah, you're right. Empowerment, definitely empowering them. No matter where you'll stand in life, is you have the right as anyone else to progress or to be. I think one lad's, I think it was the housing agency that he put on here on the game, and he said that's what I'm going to do. He goes, I'm going to be an estate agent and I'm going to have my own business. I said to him, that's it, good on you, mate. That's what it's about. It doesn't matter where you come from or how society judges you, where you place yourself, like you were saying, in the objective. It's about where it starts with you. You can do that. You can start that anywhere. And within the game, when they were playing it, and even now, people think of things that they never would even probably say. Whether it's about themselves, about that part of the city, that's it, where they're going, what are they going to do together, because let alone playing the game, that they've all just met today as well, so it's like, oh my god, I'm going somewhere with you, and it's that sort of stranger element, but actually they are going somewhere together in the game, and they have to plan that and work together to...
Exactly, and that's life, right? That's life. That's life. That, we cross paths with people that we don't know, because of a cause or because of a joint interest, and that's how not just you develop in yourself, but that's how institutions develop and movement develops.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to who's in the lead at the moment.
I know, yeah, I think...
Go bowling, 5 count. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so we've just had a question. Is it possible to play this game in the context of your own city? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. Essentially, you'd have a map of your own city, and what would be good is to find out how the city would look in 2030, because as we know, there are going to be so many geographical changes, and then implementing your familiar locations and the landmarks that are key and important to you or your team. And applying the same rules, having the vehicles, having them be electric, having missions to complete. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's it. Like you said, starting from the map, because the initial sessions, me and Ray were like, this, like Peterborough's going to be underwater. Like, that's it. If you know where Asda is, Asda's not going to be there. And they're like, what? And it's waiting for the penny to drop, and that's it. We had to literally show them, like you said, the map. This is this area in 23, whenever, 25. And when they visually saw the map, which was this, we based it on, they were just like, oh, the penny dropped. And then they were like, geez, wow, yeah. And they're like, so where's so-and-so going to be? And we were like, that's it, like, where, this is the new map. Where are you going to place the barbers and Amazon and all these, all the bookmarked places for young people in the city as well? Because in Peterborough, Pete Bay, it's gone. So they had to rearrange it and put it in places, and these were all the places they came up with. So
and again,
in the city, anyway, you can place that.
And whilst, again, this is a game, it kind of reflects real life, because when those spaces are underwater, it's about, okay, how do we adapt our society? And again, coming back to the young people being part of this game, is them thinking about in the map, okay, how is it going to look? But actually, in real life, these decisions are going to have to be made, and in 2030, they'll be leading those changes.
Exactly.
Okay, so Harold's picked up a prompt card. Okay, so he's just said he just wants to go bowling. What's he gonna choose?
Well, basically, he took your advice though, because he wants to help the environment. So,
By cleaning outside the shop.
yeah.
Just sweeping the streets. You had some influence.
Right, are they going to do something for the environment, or are they going to go bowling?
So it's which one?
Okay, so we've had another question. How did the group imagine the city in 2030? Did they use research and data, or is it pure speculation? So it was hugely based on research. So the research is whether the map was created through speculation or was it through research and data. So, Prin, you were there from the beginning, and my understanding is it was pure research and data. But the locations was partly, the students using their creativity, partly using, the actual map on where some places are located, but then where, like you said, some things are underwater now, where are we going to, rebuild, or where are we going to move those things?
Yeah, a lot of research, like I was saying, we got the map up, we've done a gradual, through the decades, and that's it, the water coming, as you see, the water creating a wash into Peterborough, we did, we even looked into the socio-economic aspect of it, because a lot of the group were like, I won't be able to afford an electric car. What? Yeah. I can hardly get a job in qualification. Like, what? So it was a lot of research around socio-economic stuff, like we were saying about aspirations, jobs, as well as looking at the gradual flooding, water levels rising in Peterborough over an amount of time, and the young people realising, oh my God, that spot that we went to is not going to be there. So we were like, that's it, where would you put it in the new map, and what would be important to you in Peterborough at that time? What would you be using? Hence the locations that they came up with, and they moved it obviously all inland. Yeah. What they needed for young people.
What was really interesting for me as well is how, during the workshops, because it was such a process, and a lot of that was learning about climate change and learning about the way the environment is going to change, is how even myself, how disconnected we feel from those changes, because it feels so distant, but in reality it's not that far, and the students were really surprised.
Yeah, they're really surprised, and the timing, it was like, I'm going to be this age and you're going to be this age. They were like, yeah. Oh, so that's it. Oh, I might have a girlfriend, I might have a wife, I might have a family. It's like, you just might do, Your house might be all like eco-green friendly, like, I don't know, solar panels and God knows what by then. And that's what I was saying about the penny dropping, like from when they saw the map. It was like, oh, let alone, geez, where am I going to be within all that? And that placement, like you said, amongst the change, and trying to find where you are in that change, and how are you going to adapt to it, and be part of that, like function within that. Yeah.
Absolutely, Prin.
It's really interesting because, like I said, the young people within the group, their priorities are elsewhere, and it's thinking about where they stand. Yeah, within that, it's priorities, for example, whether it's like illegal activities, whether it was girlfriends, where you're going to meet your mate next, money, education, that sort of came below that. The teenagers, aren't they? They're not going to be thinking about water levels rising and the change of it until they physically see it.
And I think that's it, Prin. Like, the process was also like about showing them that there is all of this outside there as well, and they are completely part of that. It's not something that they don't have the power to influence and engage with and change. And I definitely saw that, as we developed this game even further and looked deeper into these environmental changes, and looking at the data and looking at, like you said, the maps. Kind of some of the feedback from the students was very much around kind of like, in so many words, what am I supposed to do about it? But this is good, because it's like, okay, well, what can we do about it,
Exactly. Like, it's that helplessness almost of something, that's it, that invisible force you can't see happening. You have no control over that, but you can do actions within your daily life to change it. But that's you, let alone your mates, let alone a bigger scale, or city, town, that sort of thing. So it's it's quite I think it's daunting actually for them to actually think about it. I think it sort of blew their minds when we sat down and actually played it, and discussions we had around it. It's the impact, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree with you.
It's a gymnastic.
The gym one.
Okay, so it looks like Jack's picked up another card. I think he's got the gym instructor. So very green choices. I think option A was encouraging him to eat vegetables, and the second one was that a turbine?
Yeah, 3 minutes for the...
Generate electricity. Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's up one.
That's cool, yeah. We'll do that.
Okay, 30 seconds.
So it's important to remember as well that these options will also impact whether you get a block to fill in your car, and which block you get as well. And it becomes very important as you start to fill up your car, because you'll become more limited in which blocks you're looking for. So all things to think about as you progress in the game.
All right, moving on.
Heading to Sleep Cuts.
Okay.
So Harold's heading to Slick Cuts. Is he going to go for a haircut? Is he going to go for a job?
No, just go.
Okay.
What are you doing there?
I'm looking for employment.
So he's looking for employment. Okay. He wants to be a barber.
Right.
Nice.
You dropping your CV off?
Yeah.
All right. Wow, Harold has just one.
Okay, so Harold has 1 bar left.
Yeah. But you know, it has to be an activity you do with somebody else.
It's me now.
Okay, so we've just had a question about how the blocks work. So essentially the aim of the game is to fill up your vehicle with all the blocks, and we have 3 categories of blocks. So you'll see there's red, yellow and green. So the red blocks symbolize things that you do for yourself. The yellow blocks symbolize things you do with someone else. So you collaborate with another player. For example, you might meet at the bowling alley, and then once you're both there, you can both bowl together, and then you both gain a yellow block. Then finally, the green blocks are things you can do for the environment. So you might go to the beach gym and maybe create a conservation area for living animals at the coast. So you have 3 different categories. And it's as you move around and go to locations that you can complete these quote-unquote missions and then gain a block. Something else to remember as well is that if you run out of charge and you can't get to a charging point, you have to sacrifice one of your blocks. So you use it as a battery pack, essentially, and then you lose one. So a bit of a forfeit there. So it's really, like you said earlier, Prin, you've really got to think about, planning and making sure you have enough charge on your way.
Okay. And people still haven't learned how to wash their hands. So you need to.
A reminder, reminder.
Okay. All right, refresher course in hygiene.
So
That will be together.
Jack's jointly done with Adrian was a refresher course on hygiene.
Refresher course on hygiene, I think I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have one. You can move one.
So Nagina's only got 1 charge left by the sound of it. It's a tricky spot. Is she going to sacrifice? She just expressed that she doesn't want to sacrifice a bar. It's always painful.
What are we going to do next turn? Just go up. You can't go
So she decided she wants to move just 1, but then she will be stuck. So it looks like she might not have a choice.
You have a bar, you can give one up. So you can get a full charge. But
You have to have a bar.
No, you have to give a bar up. Because you're flat. Your battery's dead.
Okay, it looks like the Dungeon Master's trying to enforce the rules. Nagina's expressing a lot of resistance and giving up her bar.
Yeah. You didn't give up a bar.
She's given in, and she's handed in a bar in exchange for full charge on her vehicle. So she's ready to move again on her next go.
Refresher course about.
Yes, about hygiene and, washing the hands, which is important. So I'm going to dash over to Bretton Forest, I think.
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay, so Jack
Yeah, it's gone to Bretton Forest.
Again, let's see.
It's to figure out what it's going to do there. Oh, he just picked another card.
So we've met Michael Nobby Ross.
Oh, great.
Good old Nobby.
Who's 70, likes golfing. So one option is, oi, I'll show you how to hotwire a car, steal someone's ride for me.
Right, Jack's just been presented with two very
give up your ride.
difficult choices. So you can either hotwire a car or give up his car. What are you going to do, Jack?
So you have to
Jack.
steal someone's car.
He has to steal the car. Or he'll take yours.
Wow.
Okay, I will steal someone's car, however.
You know what? It's the point of the game where everyone's starting to get their bars filled up. Jack's now decided to steal a car. I think he's deciding to steal a car because he doesn't want to give up his. But he's having a moral dilemma here. He's really fighting with himself.
Literally having a moral dilemma. That is so funny.
Someone who earns a lot. Because then I feel like they could just replace the car. Like, it's not really much.
Okay, so he's just said that he will steal it from someone who earns a lot of money. So there's some thought and consciousness in there.
This is it. It brings out these conversations with people. What in your day when in your day when you think about robbing a car, or robbing someone with a load of money, or picking someone with a lot of money because they have it. So what are they going to lose, Right. Absolutely, just so.
Do I have to the bus?
Yes.
Oh, Jack's going to take the bus.
Right, so this involves basically exchanging his car for another player's vehicle.
Then you're on the bus like Harold.
So what's tricky about this is, obviously if a player's almost there with their bars, they're now going to be at a disadvantage because Jack doesn't have as many. If Jack doesn't have as many.
Karma's coming, got me. So I will.
Now we're talking about karma.
Really?
Oh, he's going to leave his car and join the bus.
Okay.
There we go. I was going to leave his car.
All right. So that means you don't have to go on charging points. This is just going to pretend
So
that's
this is a bus now.
That's a bus now. So you can only, but you don't have to charge anymore.
Okay, so his vehicle is converted into a bus now. So that means it goes to the rules of the bus, which is you can only move 5 places at a time, but you do not have to go to a charging point. So again, the pros and cons here, isn't it, about the different vehicles and what you can and can't do.
Yeah. Oh, Harold's chosen to go to Chicken Palace.
Famous Chicken Palace.
Yeah.
All right. You're going to have to wait for Nagita.
With Nagita.
With Nagina. Yeah. I don't know about when you did it within the first year, but Chicken Palace came up a lot in our conversations.
Chicken Palace is the place. It is the mecca of chicken for teenagers and adults, because I've even been there. I'll go to Chicken Palace.
That's where we had our lunch before we played the game.
Brilliant. It is the mecca. It's the mecca for young people. They love it. Teenagers love Chicken Palace.
You can go to the forest.
I'm going to the forest.
All
Right, Adrian's venturing into the forest now. Wonder what he's going to do there.
So over there, I've got 2 options, don't I? I can either agree to do something.
Is that a card that he's pulled?
Do something with Jack.
Okay. Oh, okay. He's thinking about his bars. Right. Is he going to do something from the environment, or is he going to do something jointly with Jack? He's thinking.
You don't want to do any work. You just want to tell other people how to do their job.
I think
Still thinking.
I've got to do something that's maybe.
It's tricky when you get somewhere and you have the option to do fulfill 2 different bars, isn't it? Do they safeguarding trees? That's a really creative one. I've not heard that suggestion before.
Who want to come and cut pieces of wood and stuff.
Why would they do? Who are these people?
The Dungeon Master is questioning his decision. Who are these people that are coming to cut down the trees? He suggested illegal campers.
We got an SIA badge, so.
Do you want to do this together?
Okay, are they going to do this jointly?
How would that work?
I think Adrian's after a environmental bar, so he's questioning how it would work in terms of which one he fills. So they've agreed on and settled on fulfilling a joint activity bar. So they both now have another yellow bar. Nagina's now going to Chicken Palace, joining Harold to our favourite place.
It's really brilliant. Nobby, one of the characters they've put in there, Nobby, obviously is like famous Peterborough homeless man, even since I was younger, iconic. And I don't know how it came about in conversation. I think I said to the group, I was like, do you know Nobby? They're like, sort of, no, not really. And then one lad was like, oh yes, is that the guy who, they cleaned up and I was like, I said yes. And even that bit of history, I know it's different generations, but they still knew of Nobby.
Oh, it looks like we have a winner. Harold has won the game. Well done, Harold. Well done, Harold. We've had some questions, yes, which we've answered on the way.
Yeah. So we have about 4 minutes left. So
okay.
We can answer questions.
So we've got 4 minutes remaining, guys. Do you have any more questions? Please send them through, and we will do our best to answer them.
Not yet.
So, or even any comments on the gameplay. What were your thoughts around the rules of the game, the map? Would you play this game?
Well, who's the best player?
Okay, we've got a question from the players. Who's the best player? Who is your number one player?
All right, Nagina, what did you think of this game?
It was good.
Oh, thank you for your feedback. Really enjoyed it. Would really like to play it here in the Netherlands. That would be amazing. Why don't, that sounds wonderful. You guys should definitely have a look at making your own maps and looking at your own geographical spaces and how that might change.
Definitely, I think so.
If there's nothing, are there any questions?
Oh,
yeah. We were just responding.
People were saying a lot about for their area and developing their own map and looking at their area and what it will look like when the sea levels, water levels rise, and looking into researching their own area and their own game in that sense. Or getting Way to come along and help you.
Definitely.
People actually look at their own areas, actually. I think it's a lot of reflection on that. That sounds really good.
Okay. Any Peterborough natives want to comment on the changed landscape?
I just know that my home will be on the North Sea somewhere, or it's either under it or I'll have a beachfront.
Yeah, beachfront. Howard saying his house would be underwater anyway, or he might have a beachfront house.
So, are you rooting for climate change?
He's debating whether he's rooting for climate change or not.
So, yeah. Well, it's really interesting, to be honest. Because, especially the game itself, it's the first time I've actually sat and played it. Seen it, remember. It's quite awesome.
That's great. Then, well, thank you everyone for playing. I just want to thank all the people who've been involved in the past 2 years, getting this together. Nacro, the Howard League, Dr. Will Jackson, JU, Mental, Peterborough Admirable, National England a little bit, Necessity, Arts Council, Jesus for Change. Who else have I missed out anyone?
And why for leading such an amazing project.
Can we have Oscar lead us out? Oscar, yes. He made a rest for us.
Hey, you know we're playing PTown Bay. We're riding around steady cause we trying to save the planet, save our cities and towns. Wanna save our world, don't wanna see it drown.